Chapter 3. Wishes. The three girls were in their house trying to relax in the living room. Apparently, Rod wasn't appreciated by many people. There was barely much said about him on the news, and at his funeral only his parents, plus Jake and Andy, were the only ones who even showed. Meadow couldn't get over the thought of seeing Rod, her old school bully, being hit by an 18-wheeler. Several weeks had gone by and the memory still shocked her to the core. It's all my fault. I did it. I wished for him to die. And lo and behold, he got hit by that truck driver, said Meadow, running her fingers through her hair in stress. It was self-defense. You said what any normal person would say if they had a gun aiming at their head. You've got to quit beating yourself up over this. Also, you were not the one who ran him over, said Arlette, trying desperately to help Meadow. I'm not trying to stir up more issues, but right after you wished him to die, I saw with my own two eyes the pinky finger curl down on this bony hand, said Rogue, wide-eyed. You probably bent the finger down on accident? Suggests Meadow. No way. Have you tried bending these fingers down? They're stiff as metal. See, look, said Rogue, trying hard to bend a single bony finger down. Arlette began rubbing her chin with her fingers. You could see the wheels turning in her head. So, you said the pinky curled right after she made a wish? What if we test it out for shits and giggles? Oh, come on, Arlette. How thick do we need to get to actually believe it even works? Snapped Meadow. Well, worst case scenario, nothing happens and we go on with our lives, suggest Rogue. Meadow rolled her eyes. I can't believe we're actually thinking of doing this, she said. Arlette snatched the skeleton hand from Rogue and sat it in the center of the kitchen table. Come on, what are we waiting for? She said with a smile. The three of them sat at the table. So what do we wish for? Asked Arlette excitedly. Rogue looked back and forth at Meadow and Arlette. How about $1 billion? Arlette smiled while nodding her head. Meadow, however, was still in disbelief. Well, here goes nothing, she said with a shrug. Rogue decided to make the wish. Hello, skeleton hand thingy. We wish for $1 billion. They all closed their eyes, and after a few moments they peeked with one eye. Nothing happened. I knew this wasn't going to work, said Meadow. They all opened their eyes. Maybe it takes time, suggested Arlette. It has to. I saw that dang finger curl down, said Rogue. Meadow yawned while stretching. Well, as much fun as I'm having, I really need to hit the sack and get some rest. Good night, you two. Eventually, Rogue and Arlette sadly went to bed. The very next day, they all awoke to a ring from the doorbell. Meadow drug her feet as she walked to the door and opened it. A man in a fancy suit politely spoke to Meadow. Hello, I'm Reg Johnson. Are you related to Jeff Rose and Elizabeth Rose? Meadow raised her eyebrow with a confused look on her face. They're my stuck-up grandparents, who I haven't seen in years. The man gave a concerned look. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, I am their lawyer, and they left it in their will for you to receive their inheritance. Meadow was wide-eyed. How much of an inheritance? The man took off his top hat while brushing his mustache with his fingers. Oh, sorry, my lady. How rude of me. They left in their will for you to have $1 billion. Meadow's eyes were wider than before. She slowly looked to the table, and to her shock, the ring finger on the skeleton hand was bent downward.